Hey everybody, and welcome back to RipTech Labs. I'm Chris, and on the bench today is this little boombox from, I believe, 1987. It's a Panasonic RX-FM16. But I figured this would be fun to just take a look at, make sure it's working, make sure it's not broken, filthy. We'll clean it up a little bit. If we need to clean the tape deck out, probably replace the belts maybe, I don't know. I bought it at Goodwill for like $11 and then set it on the shelf for later, and of course that was several months ago. Now here we are. So the first thing we want to do is turn it over and check to make sure there's no batteries in it, and I don't believe I did that. I just kind of grabbed this off the shelf just before this video, and it's kind of heavy, which is usually like, oh crap, there's batteries in there, and I didn't take them out. So let's see what we have. Oh, I'm cringing. Yeah, good old leaks. Okay, and sure enough, you can see this one's already started to go. Well, let's take them out. So this took, if you can see this, 6 batteries, so it would be 9 volt, I guess. And it does not want to come out. There we go. So, well, that one's not blown up. That one's not blown up. This one, unfortunately, is blown up. But the good thing is it doesn't look like it leaked anywhere, at least nothing. Yeah, best if installed by January 2002. So these are probably late 90s era, guessing. So they've been in there that long. This one's got starts of some leakage going on. Let's see if we can get these guys out of the bottom. So yeah, despite them leaking, it looks like it didn't get anywhere else inside of here, which is great, which is very great. If you can see down inside of here, there's a little bit of stuff along there. We'll take some alcohol and clean that up. That should come right off. I mean, overall, it's kind of dusty from sitting on the shelf. What are you going to do about it, right? Except clean it up like I'm doing right now. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing there. There's nothing on the cover. So I think we got lucky on that one. Let's put the cover back on. It did come with the power cord, so we'll at least be able to plug it in and test it. It does have some issues on the top. Now I did take and remove the price sticker, which left, of course, that garbage on it. And of course we've got Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. Grill wrote their name on it. Let's see if that'll come off. I'm hoping it does without taking this paint off. I don't know if this is printed. Let's just give this corner a shot. Boy, yeah, the IPA doesn't even want to touch that ink. Oh boy, no, it's coming off, and it's not taking the paint, so we'll just fast forward through this part. There we go. I might have dulled the finish a little, but at least it's not sticky and gross. I'll take a little dull over sticky and gross any day. There are a few small scratches and dings on this, but it's not awful. Nothing I can't live with. Oh man, it went all the way down there too. There we go, I think that's pretty good. But I mean, the antenna's intact. That's usually one of the first things to go. The handle's intact. That's like the second thing to go, right? I say that. Something just moved there when I moved that. So I guess the first thing to do is plug it in. Yikes, watch me break the antenna off. Power is on this side, and of course you've got your standard little appliance cord plug in, headphones, nothing on that side, nothing on the bottom. But before I get too far into this, like I said, I had trouble locating this radio overall, but what I did find is some German Panasonic catalog pages that had what looks like this radio. However, they give it a different model number. They gave it this FM27. So I mean, if you look at that radio and this one, right? It's the same one. It's the same thing. I can't see any functional difference with that. Even the little doodads on the speaker there are the same. The button layout is the same. It has the same buttons. This ambient stereo thing. I guess they just used a different model number in Germany. Here's another page from a different catalog. It might be the same one actually, but same thing. They call it this 27L. Yeah, what's the difference? I don't know. There's actually, I guess if you look carefully on this one, There is a slight difference on the top here, isn't there? There's two slider switches. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't see that before. There is a separate switch here. Go back to the desktop here. There's one switch here for mono stereo, where the German one has what looks like a second one right next to it. And of course I can't tell what that is. It's got the volume and the band selector. The reverse mode looks like it's right there behind well, maybe. So maybe they moved the reverse mode switch on this German one, which is right here, over to here, because I don't really see, I don't see that sticking up here. Maybe that little bump right there. Yeah, I think that's what that did. Okay. But other than that, it looks like the same radio, right? So I guess we should plug it in. I'm not going to bother ramping up the voltage here or anything. I'm just going to give it the old gung-ho. Let's turn it on. I believe it's turned off. Let me do that first. We'll go AM first. All the optional controls are turned off. Put that in stereo all the way down. Power off. Oh, all the way to that. Okay. So let's flip it on. Cat outside running on the giant cat wheel looking for attention right now. Yeah, okay. So let's turn it on to AM. Cool. We have lights. And we have static. Well, that figures. So there's that low-end sports station. So much interference right now, especially right here with all my LED lights and stuff. It's just, AM is a nightmare. And there's the other sports station. Let's go FM here. Oh, there's Yoshi being a pest. Say hi, Yoshi. Here's Yoshi being a pest. Oh, now you don't want attention? Okay. Say hi. Say hi. Okay. Say goodbye. FM. Yeah, the volume slider's dirty, but we can deal with that. But honestly, for a tiny little radio like this, this sounds amazing, and that's without turning on any of this stuff. I know you guys can't hear it because YouTube's compression and crap, but I'm just curious. Let's find something that maybe won't get copyright struck. To just sit here in front of this sounds freaking brilliant. With these tiny little, I don't even think these are 4-inch speakers. Oh, they are 4-inch, okay. But I mean, they're just little 4-inch speakers with these little tiny tweeters. And the separation on this without any of this is brilliant. Now, I want to see what happens. Oh, that is with the ambiance on. Okay. So that's why it had that separation. That's this ambiance feature. You know, that was a thing. I don't know. They all used this to some extent. They called it different things, but you can I don't know if you can tell this on the video or not. Yeah, when it's off, you can hear the signal. Instead of being, you know, like left and right, it kind of closes up while it's off. Like I can't even explain it, but you know what I'm talking about. You were there. Low boost, a high boost, and a high cut. Instead of just putting a tone controls or an equalizer, I guess this is kind of a rudimentary 3-band equalizer. You know, controls definitely need cleaning out. But let's plug in my old skunky radio tape here. Actually, before I put any tape in there, we need to, whoop, wrong button. Try and, yeah, the action on that's not great. Well, that's gunky in there, isn't it? Yikes. Yeah, that sat on the shelf for a while. Oh, wow. I don't suppose this would just come out nice and peacefully, will it? Of course not. No, of course not. Sometimes these doors would just kind of pop off. That was always a hobby of mine, was any radios like this, was to figure out how they came apart. And now look, here we are. So what happens if we just, let's turn it to and play. You can hear it kick in. And you hear the hiss. What happens if I switch direction? Yeah. We've got no motion on the wheels. We've got no motion on the rollers. Well, so I guess we have some work to do. Let's see what we can break. I mean fix. Got the clip right here now. What's holding it on now? Nothing. All right. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so that just comes right off. The volume switch just has this little tab that goes down onto the slider right here. Cool. All right, so what do we got in here then? And how are we going to get at the back of this tape deck? I really don't want to go tearing this all apart, but I don't think I'm going to have a choice. There's our tuning mechanism. That seemed to work fine. And the rest of these just come off. Yeah, let's just do that then. That one's kind of fixed. Oh, there goes the handle. That's cool. Ooh, that's not good. That's a tiny little piece of clip. Who knows, huh? Hopefully it's not important. I don't see any missing pieces, so maybe it was just a piece of the frame. We got a screw here. I'm gonna get a different thing of screws so I don't get these all mixed up. Ooh, that came right off. Okay, cool. And this is attached still somehow. These little clips here. Yep, okay. Just need to get this out of the way, maybe? Please? There we go. Okay. Alright, cool. Got this screw here, and this screw here. Okay, that looks like it maybe removes this bracket. How? Yeah, I guess this is made to never come apart, from what I can see. This is very, yeah, okay. Thanks, Panasonic. Now, is that loose yet? Okay. Yeah, everything is just soldered to everything else. Alright, well, I gotta get this out so we can flip it over and look at the bells. Okay, that's coming out. Oh, are you kidding? Come on. No, that's soldered directly to the board, and it's soldered to... Oh, okay, fine. Alright. Okay. That's out. Now what do we got? Still have, that's got a connector. This, however, does not, and it goes through the board, because of course it does. And that wire has a connector. Alright, so let me see. Popping this one out. Now what? Okay, yeah. Alright, yeah, this wire, see, goes through the board there. So it's, in order to desolder that, I'd have to either desolder it from this tiny little switch. I'm not real versed in what how the inner workings of a cassette deck work. I'm sorry, I'm just not. That looks like some kind of switch of some kind. Maybe that's like a tension. I don't know where that goes. That's not for the Write Protect tab, is it? No, that's this one. Okay. Honestly, couldn't tell you what that one's for. I don't know. You can see here, here's our belt 1. But yeah, in order to get that, this has to come off, which is connected to a bunch of other stuff, because of course it is. The problem other problem we have is there's a belt here. Where does that go? It's completely gone. It's wrapped around. So we're missing a belt here that I don't know that I have, actually. That's a big fat belt. You know, if that is just a switch, it's not going to matter, and I can disconnect it. So I'm just going to do that and hope for the best. Let's try to do this a little more professionally. Come on. Okay. That's free. Now, does this whole thing come out now? Yes. Alright, so let's get this out of the way. I'm just curious what happens if I peel this belt off. What's under there? Oh yeah, I'm 90% sure that wasn't supposed to happen. Eek. Oh my god, what? There's, okay, so this main drive belt, yeah, it like, apparently is a big fat belt that, oh my god, that broke at some point and just wound itself around this pulley. And it's almost liquid in there. You can just, little pieces of it, just, look at that. Ugh. Yeah, oh wow, okay. So we should be able to just take that. Oh, it just broke now, never mind, they're completely trashed. Oh god. Ugh. Okay. Does this mechanism have a name? Aha, it does. Okay. Part of this mechanism has been changed, so when ordering replacement parts, refer to the RX-FW2 service manual supplement. Our motor's on this bracket like this. So yeah, that definitely requires a belt that I don't have, something this wide. Let me look at my bag of belts here. I don't think there's anything that fits this. Yeah, these are all just little skinny ones. Probably in millimeters. So that's what, 5 millimeters? 4 millimeters. Probably 4. Yeah, probably 4 millimeters. That's fine. If we can fix this, then great. 40 millimeter, a whole pack of them. Yeah, okay. So I guess I'll see you back here in a little bit when these belts come in, and we will try to put this thing back together and get it working. Stay tuned. Alright, so it's been a couple of days and I've got my 4 millimeter belts. Now, I just got through watching another video on YouTube by a channel called Cassette to Go that is basically doing what I'm doing right here, and he says it needs 3 millimeter belts. So this may or may not work. I may have just blown the wad on 4 millimeter belts. I measured the pulley there. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to try the 4 mil belts and see what happens. This might be a complete washout. I don't know. The belts might be too big, slip off the wheels. I don't know. But I think I got a grasp on how to take this mechanism apart to get at it. It's a little more complicated than I was hoping for, but we should be able to do it. So I guess let's get started. And of course I have my belts I already had for the smaller belt here. So I guess let's get started. Alright, so here we are. Now, if I read this correctly, or understood what he's talking about, we got a screw right here. Apparently I have to make sure that this goes back in the right place. That screw is very tiny and does not want to come out. Let's see. A little bit smaller screwdriver. There, cracked. Okay. I'm going to try to set these in such a way so that I know where they came from. That's very important. Now there's another screw. Yep, and that just fell right off. Okay, we'll know where that goes. There's another screw back here behind the motor. On the other side, we'll put that over here on the left so we know where that goes. There is this screw right here, which is also a small head, so let's, that one does not want to go. I don't want to strip it. Let's try a little bit bigger. Oh, there we go. I think that's a mistake we all make, is using the wrong screwdriver for the wrong hole, and yeah, totally mess things up. So let's put that there, put that one there. Now, there was a, does this want to come off yet? Okay, so that kind of just lifts off there. There is something else holding this on. Okay, there's a little plastic tab down here that's holding that into place. So if we pop that, that should just come off. Okay, now that should give us all the access we need to do these belts. I'm not sure why he said that wheel has to come off. Yeah, I'm not sure why that would need to come off. I didn't lose any parts. But let's see what we can find out here. Because it has to go around, let's see, it went around here and then back up to here. So it goes from the motor around this one and then back up across that one. Which could be interesting because that's spring-loaded and it's popping up. So let's cut into this like a civilized human being instead of like some animal just tearing it apart. Which is basically what I'm doing anyway. And we gotta find the right length, which means I gotta take this whole wad out of here and try and figure this out. So that looks like maybe it's too small. That one looks like it's a little bit bigger. Don't want them too tight. Yeah, 4mm fits right in that pulley real good, so that might be too tight. Well, yeah, that feels like that's too tight. Let's see, do we have any that are bigger than that? Or is that the biggest this bag goes? Maybe I really screwed up. There we go, that one looks like it's a little more fit. Try not to get it twisted. And that should go there, that should go there, and that should wrap around this wheel here. I said that should wrap around that wheel there. Piece of cake. Try and get it all the way down there so it's not rubbing on anything else. So it looks like the 4mm belt will work. Hopefully we don't run into any interference. But that definitely turns like it should. Okay. Now the next one, we'll use a little bit fatter. That's always good if it will support it. That might do the trick right there. You know, they can be a little tight there. You know, they're not going to last forever anyway. So that one goes on there. Ooh, yeah, and that, well, and that, if you can see that, that's turning all the wheels. They are, yeah, I can see how the 4mm belt might be an issue. Let's see if we can take the twist out of that belt. So I guess we'll find out. It might rub on the belt and make them fail prematurely, in which case we'll have to, I guess, deal with that. Well, no, there's a gap there. If you can see that. There is a small gap there, so we might be in business with that. Okay. So with that, we'll put these away. I think that's all we need to do. I hope. Oh no, I lost a washer. Where did that come from? Oh no. Oh no, where did that come from? Oh no. I don't remember seeing one on there, but that's entirely possible. It's a very flimsy washer. Does that just slide over that hole? If I can do this without destroying it. Can't get it back out of there. There we go. Does it just slide over that? Yeah, so that's probably where that came from. Okay, so then this, and then that little bearing fell out of the hole. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's where that came from. Okay. Let's just put that bearing, yeah, that's exactly where it came from, because there's one exactly like it on this side. Genius. Okay, so that goes back on there. Now this, we've got, that goes down onto these. This little bracket goes on that little bracket. Why don't you want to go down there? Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, that part went on. That little part there should snap into this hole that we just pried that out of. Good. Something else is still, okay, this little pocket here. All right, that's got to go on that. What am I not seeing? What am I not seeing? That goes, okay, that snaps into there, that snaps onto that. Cool. And there, it kind of snapped, everything snapped into place, I believe. See, I'm not sure why they said 4 screws need to come out of there when I only needed to take 3 out, so there's that. Alright, so let's put this one in the center back on. That goes on this little bracket here. Okay, we'll kind of leave that loose for a bit in case we need to wiggle that around. This one behind the motor. Let's use the small screwdriver. Try to get it lined up there. Uh-oh, that doesn't line up. Where's the hole? There it is. Okay, screw that one down nice and tight. Okay, now we've got this bracket which has to go back on here, and that little tab connected to, there's a little slot for it right down there. Yep, excellent. Okay. Here again, a little tiny screw. Let's see if we can just get that. Can we get it started by hand? Stuff always comes apart so much easier than going back together. And that one goes into there. Now that should move. Let's see, there's a mechanical switch for the record head. Yeah. But that goes to something else. I'm not sure. Is that for the auto reverse? That's for the auto reverse. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all we need to do. I don't think we didn't have any leftover parts here, so let's get these belts out of the way. So when I took it apart, I had it oriented like this, right? This went on there, like so. This needs to come out of the way. Alright, so it's been a few days, several actually. Unfortunately, when I put this thing back together and tried to get it to work, nothing happened, and like an idiot I had my recording system set on the wrong camera, so on the bench you couldn't see anything, so I'm not even going to include any of that. But basically what happened was nothing worked. What happened exactly? Well, I'm not sure. So what I did was I took the schematics for, now if you remember, there was a German version of this radio, the exact same radio, right, called the FM16. I could find the schematics for that. So what I did is I downloaded those schematics, went over that with a fine-tooth comb. I basically drew out everything that it could possibly be. I mean, right now, I've got it hooked up to my DC power supply instead of the mains on 9 volts. A little jiggly right there. But as you can see, it has power on light, and that's it. It won't do anything else. The tape mechanism now works great. Here, let me show you this. This is great. The tape mechanism, it works great, right? But as you can see here, there should be a light saying what direction the tape is going. And when I hit auto reverse, watch this. This is cool. I love how these things work. Watch that. Oh, that's great, isn't it? It should switch direction, and there's nothing. There's nothing there at all. If I hit stop, now let me get this out of the way, and when I switch to radio, the power light comes on, but still I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. So like I said, what I did was I tried to rule it down to like, well, maybe it's a preamp in the cassette. Well, obviously, if I'm getting no radio, that's not it. This equalizer board, that's this little guy right here. Try to zoom out a little bit. It's like, well, maybe the audio's not getting through that, right? Okay, that's fair. The next thing would be the final stage, which is this blue here. But I got to thinking, I'm like, well, this light comes on, right? So what's going on with that? So I traced this back from this power LED, looks like that's right here, and I'll switch over to another view. So what we got going on here is, here's our power LED over here, right, this D10. That one, the power comes through there, go down, straight from this little circuit right here, right? So I'm like, huh, if it's coming out of this circuit, sorry, let me rephrase that. the power for the LED does not go through that circuit. The power for the LED, in fact, comes straight off of the power supply. So it's powered directly by DC from the batteries or from the transformer, which I don't even have in circuit right now. I figured, well, I'll just take that out of there and not mess with mains voltage at all. But that comes off of this point here, which happens before this little transistor, this Q301. So I'm like, huh, that's interesting. So what I did, and you can see here, there's voltage for test points around this transistor. So I'm like, cool, we can check to see what's going on here, right? So right now, I have this in radio mode. So if I measure from the power negative, which is here, right? This is my power. Yep. There's my 6.6 on the base. There's my 8.8, 8.9 on the collector side, and on the emitter side, there's nothing, millivolts. So I'm like, well, there's our problem. So what I'm going to do here is I have a box of new transistors. I couldn't find the correct transistor, so I got what I read was, and from multiple sources read, was the replacement, which is this BC337. That should just drop right in there and replace that. So then I've already had this out. I tested the components around it to make sure there wasn't something drawing it down. Everything else checked out fine. So I'm pretty sure that this is this transistor. So let's shut off our power. And let's take this back out again. Now it should just fall right out of there. Yep. And when I tested this in my handy dandy little Transformers tester, what did I see? That's showing as just a diode. Like the one pin is just not there. So I'm like, aha, that's gotta be it, right? That's gotta be it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this other transistor in here and we'll see if it works. Simple. Okay. All right. So I've soldered that new transistor in. Hopefully it's the right direction. I'm sure we'll find out real soon if it's not. Let's turn this on and see what we get. Power. Yeah, I'd say that was our problem. Cool. Okay. So now what I want to do, let's see if I can, I'm going to have to flip this over. Let's turn that back off. You can see the light for the FM come on there. Now what I want to do is flip this over so I can actually get to the switches and stuff, and so I can actually see the tape deck. Let's flip it over and make sure everything works. Let's power this back on. Here's our volume, here's our FM switch. We have audio, we have sound again. And you can see here that our stereo light lit up. Let's try AM. Looks like that works. Now, I want to see, does the tape deck work? Where did my tape go? Let's turn the volume down, and I hit play. Cannot see. We have motion. Well, it's still an AM. Hold on. So we got it switched all the way to tape now. And play is here. It doesn't sound great, does it? Huh. I don't know what direction I just hit that, but what happens if I switch directions? So we've still got something going on with the tape deck. It's not great. Well, hold on. That might be fine. That piece of music is... We may have to do a little messing with the belts, but I think we're okay. I don't know what this is. I recorded this off the radio many years ago. I have no idea. Yeah, let's see if we can find something a little better. I don't know. What's on the other side? That was Ozzy. No, that's Jethro Tull. It does sound a little warbly, doesn't it? Like it's not pulling the right speed. It's not bad though. Yeah, I'm not an expert in cassette decks, so I can't tell you what that's about. If my belts are too tight, not tight enough. Maybe the parts are just tight from sitting all these years, I don't know. I need to get loosened up. But the direction light should change if I do that. Yep. I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. What is that? Oh! This is what? Apparently some Stevie Ray Vaughan live show. Okay. I wasn't there. I must have recorded this off the radio, but... Wow, okay, anyway. But as you can see, all we had was this one little transistor right here. Ooh. It's a little warm. Maybe it probably is going to get warm. It's in the power circuit. So let's... what I want to do next is hook it back up to the mains and see what happens. Maybe that's why this is running a little bad. Maybe it's not liking my 9-volt power supply. I don't know. We'll hook it back up to the mains and then we'll try it again. Stand by. It's got a nasty hum in it now. Wow, okay, that could be just from the transformer here. And the DC power for the battery is laying over here like this, so... But yeah, that's got a nasty hum in it now. What does the radio sound like? It does, it has a nasty hum in it now. That's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I've got another switch or something in the wrong place.
Offensive and defensive basketball.
Okay, so we've got this back together except for the main cover. Let's see what happens. Got my power reconnected. I plugged the cassette deck in there. I hooked the motor back up. I hooked that switch back up. We should be good. Let's find out. Does our tuning wheel work like it should? It does. Cool. We have stereo. Ambience is off. Seems to all work. Let's just play with no tape. No, we still have a nasty hum. Ooh. I did read that BC337 might cause feedback, and I wonder if that's what's going on. Huh. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, so I guess we need to address this feedback issue. Now, I did read that when you use this BC337 in place of this, that you're going to have to add a resistor into the circuit to prevent feedback. And it sounds like that's exactly what I'm going to have to do. Future Chris here. Now, I went through and I added a whole bunch of different resistors to it, and literally nothing made any difference. So I'm going to skip the rest of this and go straight into the next part. Stand by. We finally have our transistors finally arrived. It only took like cripes, a month to get these things in. This project's been basically stalled since then. For these little guys right here, I'm hoping this should be the correct transistor for the power circuit in this radio. This should hopefully take care of that goofy feedback, whatever the heck was going on when you turn up the volume. It would just oscillate out of control. Let's get the old one back out first. That should be fairly straightforward. This little BC337 didn't work, so good to know for next time, I guess. Now we should be able to just gently pull these legs apart. Take my solder. Where's my other roll? My smaller roll. I don't need my big clunky tube radio solder for this. Set for 12 volts. What was I doing that I needed 12 volts? I don't remember, but I don't need 12 volts. I need 9 volts. 9 volts. Okay, so I don't know why I have 12 volts on there. I must have a reason why I had 12 volts on there. So we got our volume is down all the way here. We've got it set to tape right now, FM, AM. Let's start on FM radio. That'll be fine. Make sure it's on stereo. Okay. Tuner's engaged. Okay. Alright, let's see what happens. Okay, we have audio again. We have left and right. Now, with this static on there, what happens when I turn up the volume? Okay, try not to get any content matches here, but get some very high-end distortion, but that oscillation is gone. That oscillation is gone. Okay, so let's check the tape now. Okay. It's still slow, like maybe the belt I put on there isn't the right one or something. It's a little too loose maybe. Yeah, it's too slow. But that's doing it. That's getting it done. So the question is, why is the tape still slow? And that's going to be a question for another time, because I think I either have to clean out the mechanism, mess with that motor, put new belts on, whatever. I'll mess with that later. But for now, I think it's working. Honestly, I'm okay with this. I really am. I mean, like, I'm going to sit here and listen to tapes with it anyway. The only thing I'd use it for is to test out my tapes before I get rid of them, because I don't listen to them. So let's get this thing, get these jerry rig wires out of here and get this thing put back together, and make sure it works again this time. That was the problem last time, was put it back together and nothing worked. So here we go. Alright, now before I button this up completely, let's check that it worked on AC power without catching on fire. Moment of truth. Maestro, please. We have power. That shows forward. We have static.
But people are starting to ask why. There's a lot of picture planes on chain.
Okay, it's working. And all the equalizer buttons seem to work. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let's button this back down completely. You know what? I didn't put the handle in. Ah! Ah! I didn't put the handle in. Which means this has got to come off again. Threads on this screw are very, very fine threads. I mean, check this out. There we go. That's some fine threads. Okay, battery cover. Here. Yep. Sweet. All right. One last time. One last time. Oh, I took the tape out, didn't I? But it's there, it's playing. Reverse, you can hear it switch. The lights on the front switch. Turn it down, switch it to FM stereo.
I think it ended tape delaying sport.
It's got a real good receiver on, I'll give you that.
Oh, cool from upper 80.
Little tiny little boombox. It's really got a really good FM receiver. I mean, the stereo sounds really nice, even with a little hole in the speaker. I won't tell anybody about that. What about AM? How's that sound? That screeching, just that's all interference.
Where you don't bring up Jimmy.
So I mean, yeah, I think we're doing real good. Okay, so there we have it. That took way too long for what was just supposed to be a simple belt swap. I still don't know why that transistor decided to give it up after I put it back together. It was all working before I put it back together. Now I have 9 more of these. Hopefully I'll need them at some point, because yeah. Panasonic FM16 RX-FM16. It's back working again. I don't know. What do you think? And with that, I think I'll leave it alone. Thanks for watching. If you're still watching right now, I really appreciate it. You might want to give this video a like, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one, where I'm going to finish working on this antique Zenith over here that's giving me fits. So, take it easy. Bye.